Next, political turmoil in Venezuela and U.S. efforts to oust President Nicolas Maduro.
What is happening now in Venezuela is
Thousands of Venezuelans have been waiting in line for hours to sign an open letter to the American public denouncing
coup organized by Trump, Bolsonaro, and Almagro in order to remove the democratically elected president of the country, Nicolas Maduro.
U.S. intervention and aggression against their country.
It cannot be described in any other way.
The entire thrust of American policy in Venezuela,
it has everything to do with regime change,
is to support the Venezuelan people's effort to restore democracy to their country. That's our policy.
No move in our hemisphere, in our history, has ever been about democracy and freedom.
That is always the position of the United States.
They have always used this myth about democracy and freedom and liberty and human rights and so forth when they have to, in order to exercise raw American power, often commercial power, often benefiting them.
That's why we're pursuing these policies.
They want profits in the country, they want oil in the country, and they're going to take that money and wealth that rightfully belongs to the Venezuelan people and put it in the hands of the American capitalists.
The fact is that we are trying to rally support for the peaceful transition of power from Maduro.
With their own oligarchical puppets.
Juan Guaido, whom we recognize as president.
The United States is helping to recover a brighter future for Venezuela.
They're not out for the interest of democracy. They're not out for the interest of freedom. They're out for their own interest.
We're here to urge all nations to support the democratic aspirations of the Venezuelan people.
In the interest of profit, which is ultimately what imperialism is all about.
In the administration in 2002 in Washington, that essentially started a slow-burning coup d'etat versus Hugo Chavez at the time. And I have no doubt that that covert operation has continued with ups and downs with Nicolas Maduro.
Would you accept that Mr. Guaido has to be careful? If the Venezuelan opposition is seen to be too close to the Trump administration, that may well raise suspicions back home in Venezuela. It may allow Maduro to use this narrative about U.S. imperialism.
This is a country in our hemisphere.
The Western Hemisphere is our backyard. It's critical to us.
Venezuela is our backyard.
Our backyard.
Our backyard.
Backyard.
Our backyards.
Our backyard. And Russia is now telling us to back off of what goes on in Venezuela.
What the fuck? It's another country. The fuck are you talking about? It's our backyard.
Because they know they can. Because they're so emboldened.
The Ukraine, Crimea, that's their fucking backyard. How about that? We have missiles on their border. We have missiles in Russia's backyard.
It just shows the sickness.
That doesn't bother you? You're the patriot?
Well,
that infects the U.S. elite. Even liberals, or whatever you want to call Bill Maher, liberal bigots like Bill Maher, in looking at another country, a sovereign country, or in a part of the world and calling that our backyard, like sounding like a rank imperialist and repeating just like one of the most vile aspects of U.S. imperial dogma, going back decades now.
This was the Monroe Doctrine.
And so that's who our liberal figures are. That's who we're getting our news and comedy from. And it's a reminder why elitism is a disease. I mean, imagine having that mindset where you could look at a foreign country that way. I mean, so I'd urge Bill Maher to get help, and for the rest of us, just to turn that shit off.